Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer channel episode, and today we have a major update in the Prince Andrew ongoing story and issue, which has been in the media spotlight for the past 8 months now. I think it must be around about 8 months. Now here on this channel I have updated you every step of the way throughout this whole ongoing issue. And I have always said that whenever there was something new to tell you, that I would tell you. So late last night, just in fact as I was going to bed, news broke. There were news stories circulating that in the USA, the Department for Justice had made a formal legal request to the UK to question Prince Andrew. So that is the story, the only story that we are going to be talking about throughout this video. So obviously this is a live chat. I do prefer the medium of live chats to talk about this, to talk about anything in particular with the royal family. So I invite your comments and your questions, and I will try to read and answer as many as I possibly can. Hello to all of the channel members whose names are showing up in green in the live chat. You'll probably see it on the live chat replay as well. If you are watching on catch up, please also feel free to leave a comment under the description as well. So hello. Now I will get to Kanetta's question in a moment. She says, do you think Prince Andrew will cooperate? Well, let me hold on to that question for a moment. I've heard it. We are going to talk about that a little bit more towards the end. So first of all, let me read bits from the article which I saw last night, and then we'll get to a little bit more of an updated one today. But also I would say that perhaps we may get updates even today. So I may come back on at some point and give you an updated video. As soon as something becomes available, I will let you know. So the headline that I saw last night was, Prince Andrew vows to fight back after the Department of Justice officially demanded the UK make him available for questioning about his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the article that I'm reading, that I have in front of me now, claims that Prince Andrew will launch an extraordinary public fight back on Monday, after the US authorities made a formal request for him to be quizzed over the Epstein affair. Now, it's Monday now, and what time are we? We are about 2:30 in the afternoon on Monday. So far, there's nothing. So far, Prince Andrew has not launched an extraordinarily public fight back. So I'm still waiting for that. That is why I am saying maybe throughout the day we may have an update. But it's 2:30 already here in the UK, and there has been nothing formally from Andrew yet. If there is, I will come back and I will make a video and I will give you the update. So do make sure that you hit the notification bell. Do make sure you are subscribed, because I could literally pop up, and do a live chat update whenever something becomes available. So the article says, in a dramatic twist last night, it emerged that the US Department of Justice has filed a mutual legal assistant, otherwise known as an MLA request, for help to the UK Home Office. These requests are used only in criminal cases under a legal treaty with the UK. So we do know that the Epstein case is classed as a criminal case. Now this is separate and different to individual civil cases which may be brought about against the key figures within this whole within the whole issue. So we do know that this formal request is relating to the criminal case that's there. Now, it is important to say that Prince Andrew has always categorically denied any wrongdoing over his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, but the request from the US officials means he could potentially be forced to appear in a UK court as a witness for this case, possibly even within months. US officials have previously claimed that Prince Andrew has refused to cooperate with their requests over questioning, and to aid them, of course, with their investigation into all of the allegations made against Jeffrey Epstein and that legal case going through. So submitting an MLA is a really, really big move. And it's one that's intended to try to force him to answer the questions. Now, the Mail has understood that the Prince will make his own kind of move or comeback, or maybe some kind of statement on Monday. But like I say, we have not heard anything of that yet. It could come, like I said, in the form of a statement. The Mail understands that Prince Andrew's legal team... Now, by the way, Buckingham Palace is no longer communicating on behalf of Prince Andrew. Any request for communication is now done through his legal team. So Buckingham Palace are no longer issuing statements on his behalf. So it's understood that his team will publish a full account of their dealings with the Department of Justice. As I say, that has not happened yet at this point in me making this video. So they have been told that the Duke's legal team is at the end of its tether. We do not know if that is true or not. I cannot corroborate those sources. And that they are saying they have tried to play a straight bat now with US officials to be greeted by leaks and innuendo. So there has been a little bit of hit back that the Mail is claiming that they have from the Duke's legal team, although obviously nothing confirmed. So they have definitely, if this is true, they have chosen to use very much an Americanism. In the UK, we do not say play straight bat. That's not what we say. So I do believe that's probably an Americanism aimed at trying to make them understand their language. So basically, the Duke's team, it's alleged that the Duke's team are saying that the US hasn't played straight bat and that they want to play straight bat. Make of that what you will. So they continue, we have chosen to abide by both the letter and spirit of these rules, which is why we have made no comment about anything related to the Department of Justice's dealings during the course of this year. We believe in playing straight bat. So there we go. The Department of Justice's request for an MLA assistance from the Home Office bypasses Buckingham Palace, so it doesn't go through Buckingham Palace at all. Now, let me just go down to where it says about the implications in this case. So, if granted, if the UK grants the wish of the US prosecutors and the Department for Justice, they could either ask Prince Andrew to voluntarily attend an interview or give a statement. It's important to remember that at this stage, this is not an extradition. Prince Andrew is not being requested to go to the USA to appear in front of a court. This is just for questioning. We had all the saga maybe a few months ago, I forget the dates, where obviously the Department for Justice said that Andrew had been asked to cooperate with questioning, that he had refused. Andrew's legal team hit back saying that they had cooperated. So again, that is important to point out. They could also ask Andrew to attend a magistrate's court to provide written or oral evidence under oath. If he refused, the Duke could be forced to attend in person. So what they're saying is, what's most likely, if he does cooperate, is that there will maybe be a written statement or an oral, maybe even recorded statement. But it says that Andrew would have the right to plead the Fifth Amendment under the US Constitution and stay silent in order to not incriminate himself. The MLA request is, as I said, not the same as requesting an extradition. That process could potentially be launched if he was considered a formal suspect and that the FBI believed there was enough evidence to charge him. So there is no suggestion that that is the case at the moment. The Home Office sources last night confirmed, again, I cannot say if this is true or not, but this is what the Mail is saying, that the request had been made. No decision has yet been made by UK officials, and I am sure we will find out what that decision has been in due course. Now, the article goes on to say that unlike Queen Elizabeth, Prince Andrew does not have diplomatic immunity from prosecution, which is true. He does not. And of course, always the full force of the law should always be followed through. However, any evidence provided by Andrew may be held in camera, meaning the session would be private, with press and members of the public likely barred from attending. As I said, he would also, under the American Constitution, retain the right to plead the Fifth and stay silent. However, there have been warnings from legal experts saying that if he did that, it could dramatically backfire. They say, while the Prince would retain the right to decline to testify under the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution, the impact on his already diminished reputation would be considerable, and an adverse inference could be drawn against him in relation to the civil litigations, leading to a possible default judgment. And that was a quote from former federal prosecutor Evan T. Barr, and apparently he wrote that for the New York Law Journal last month. Barr has suggested that Andrew's safest approach is to hunker down in the UK. Now, what I would say is that with regard to any civil litigations going on, they're saying that to stay silent could, by default, be taken as a legal admittance of guilt. So I have no idea what Prince Andrew's legal team will be advising him to do. Now, I'm not going to go into everything that's gone before this. I want to keep this video very, very current, so we are not going to go back on all the different things that have happened previously in this case. So I'm going to move on to the slightly more updated article. This one was by ITV News and was updated at 8:11 a.m. Now, it has not been updated since, so nothing new has come in. Again, it repeats that it's been reported that the US prosecutors have made a formal request for Andrew to speak to them. The request was first reported by the Sun newspaper here in the UK, and again it mentions the MLA request to the Home Office. Now, it does say that they want to speak to Andrew as a witness rather than a suspect. So at the moment, there is still no Andrew is not implied in a criminal way. The angle that they are going at is that he can help them with their investigations against any criminal allegations they are making against other people involved in the case. However, under questioning, perhaps they hope that Andrew will incriminate himself and therefore lead to a legal charge against himself, which is why his legal team will be taking this very, very, very seriously. But at the moment, he is the request is as a witness rather than a suspect. As I said, as part of the inquiry into the many claims made against Epstein about him by those who say he trafficked them for improper reasons. Now, prosecutors obviously believe that Andrew could hold vital information, although it's important to say that Prince Andrew insists he never witnessed or suspected any wrongdoing during the times he stayed at Epstein's homes. Make of that what you will. So in December of last year, he did issue a statement saying, the Duke is willing to help any appropriate law enforcement agency with their investigations if required. Well, now, obviously, there has been a requirement. Whether or not his legal team will deem it a necessary requirement, we do not know. But definitely, you know, a request has been made. The Home Office guidance says it may be possible to compel the individual to attend court. However, the witness can exercise the right against self-incrimination and refuse to answer any questions at court. There we go. One of the senior lawyers representing some of the victims, the alleged victims, Gloria Allred, says it's time for the Prince to stop this cat and mouse game and stand before the bar of justice. And as we know, Prince Andrew has stood down from royal duties since last year, although it's widely believed that he was more forced to step back rather than it being a personal decision. Right, I am going to go up the comments and read down. Andrew says, I think it's time the Duke of York should answer questions from the police. This needs to be put to bed. Amber says he could possibly claim diplomatic immunity, but he would be roasted publicly if he did. Well, I mean, the only one who has like proper immunity, of course, is the Queen. But I'm sure that Andrew's legal team may have already looked into any potential diplomatic immunity. So I'm sure that is an avenue that's already been explored by his team. Camino says, how am I? I am fine, thank you. And am I a Bond fan? No. To be perfectly honest, I'm not. They aren't my kind of movies. I'm sorry. No, sorry, ma'am. I am not a Bond fan. Canetta says, does he still have diplomatic immunity since he stepped back? Well, we're not entirely sure whether he has it anyway. There was, of course, one kind of catch-22, and that is that if ever there was an extradition, it's kind of like a royal peculiar, and that is that if ever there was an extradition, and for example there was an arrest warrant and the police came to arrest him, they cannot arrest him at a royal residence. Now, at the moment, he is holed up most certainly at Royal Lodge in Windsor. Windsor is in the ground. The Royal Lodge at Windsor is within the royal boundaries of Windsor Castle, Windsor Great Park. That is classed as a royal residence. They would not be able to get him. They wouldn't be able to go in and forcibly take him. They would have to wait until he came out, basically, and into an area where he could potentially be arrested. So there is a royal peculiar that does offer him some kind of protection. And yeah, potentially, if ever it got to that stage, he potentially could be prisoner. If he wanted to play that game, he could be almost like under house arrest by staying at Royal Lodge. That is one of the royal peculiars. Let's have a look. I'm going to go down a little bit. Jaden says the Queen needs to strip him of his title, even if it is true or not. There is no return to the public eye. Well, that's the whole point. The point is that it needs to be proven. Whether or not it's someone's personal opinion, whether he should or should not, what usually happens is we go by the facts. At the moment, it is allegations. At the moment, the request is to help with the investigations. Until such times as when there is maybe a formal charge or indeed something actually proven, there will not likely be any realistic stripping of titles. That may not be what people want to hear, but it's the truth. Sylvia says, wow, he should be questioned. If he had nothing to be worried about, then why not go through with it? And that is what a lot of people are asking, especially since the television interview, which kind of raised more questions than what he had hoped to answer. So yeah, I mean, that is most people's thinking. If you haven't got anything to hide, why not cooperate? I am not his legal team. I am not party to what he is telling his legal team. So again, as a royal watcher, we have to go by what we know. Right, Canetta says, for Andrew's sake, he best not have any info on Hillary Clinton. We know how that would end. Well, I'm staying out of that one. Elaine's... no, that was talking to someone else. Hello to Elizabeth Regina. Hello, how are you? Elizabeth Regina says it's a request. He doesn't need to respond, sadly. Well, at this stage, he doesn't need to. But like they're saying, it could have implications in the civil litigations, for example. Right, I'm trying to find... Right, hello and welcome to everyone who is, of course, just joining in all of this. Elizabeth Regina says he's a slime, but he has the right to plead the fifth. That is what everyone, is saying. He does have that right. Obviously, this is a US request, so under the Fifth Amendment of the US Constitution, he does have the right not to say anything at all. Netta says, what is with current videos of Buckingham Palace boarded up? What? I haven't seen videos. Oh, is it that they are doing the palace up? Because we know that work is underway with the palace. So have you seen... are there photos of, for example, work being carried out on the palace? I haven't seen these photos, so I'm just guessing that maybe you've seen photographs of some of the restoration work of Buckingham Palace, and maybe they've, for example, boarded up some windows. I will look for those photos after I've finished being live. Right, and that is kind of all that we know at this point. I want to kind of keep this this video fairly succinct. Oh, Lady Buckingham, yes, maybe it's boarded up because of protests. We have had lots of Black Lives Matter protests here in the UK, and in particular our bigger towns and cities, London being one. There's been lots happening in Bristol as well. I'm sure you've seen in the news. However, this is a royal channel, so I'm going to keep this video very, very much on topic about Prince Andrew. Cookies and Cream says you can't get any facts if he doesn't at least speak with the FBI. Andrew stated on his own in the interview that he would cooperate. He did indeed state that. But he also said he hinted that it would be if his legal team advised him to do so. So we are awaiting to hear what Andrew's response to this request is. And if that comes later on today, such as the Mail was speculating on or anticipating, I will come back and do a very, very quick update. But for now, that is all that we know. That's all the information that we know, as correct as it may be at this time. But this is an ongoing and developing story. So stay posted for updates. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because I may pop up and do an update at any time. So if you have enjoyed this video, as always, give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to leave a comment, and do make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for everyone who supports me and this channel, of course, on Patreon. And also thank you to everyone who is a channel member through YouTube. If you want to become a channel member, just hit the join button and you will have access to a load of exclusive emojis, which I will add more to as I get more members. So thank you for watching this video. I will return with updates as and when they are available. So, mwah to you all. Stay safe and goodbye for now.